Thank you for your interest in the Dual Language Immersion Program at Washington Primary. This video will provide you with more information concerning Dual Language Immersion, or DLI, and the specific model Washington Primary will implement. The DLI team consists of Superintendent Mr. Kevin Frank, Assistant Superintendent Mr. Steve Peterson, Building Principal Mr. Tom Lee, Program Coordinator Mrs. Kristen Murphy, Family Outreach Coordinator Mrs. Mary Saccarello, Kindergarten English Teacher Mrs. Kristen McGuire, First Grade English Teacher Mrs. Shannon Strange. During this presentation, there will be a need to define a few essential terms specific to the Dual Language Immersion Program. Dual Language Immersion, DLI, is an instructional model where students receive core instruction in two different languages. One-way format is a model where students are placed in a classroom based upon their native language and receive the majority of their instruction in their native language. Two-way format is a model where students of varying cultures and native languages are placed in the same classroom while receiving core instruction in both languages. Monolingual refers to the ability to speak in only one language. Bilingual refers to having the ability to communicate in two languages. What is dual language immersion? The model that will be implemented at Washington Primary will be a two-way model where students of various cultures will be placed within the same classroom to receive core instruction in both Spanish and English. Students will receive half of their core instruction in Spanish and half of their instruction in English. All instruction will be based upon Indiana state standards, just like their peers, who will receive instruction in only one language. Teachers will collaborate to maintain consistency across the grade level and to support students in building language proficiency. Dual language education is a program that is new to Washington Community Schools, but is not a new program throughout our country. The first official DLI program was established in 1839 in the state of Ohio for German and English. Utah established their first program in 2007. They have experienced such great success that by 2013, over half of their school districts offer a DLI program. Indiana established its first program in 1994 and has now expanded to over 42 total schools, including Bloomington, Huntingburg, and now Washington. A research study was performed by Professors Thomas and Collier of George Mason University to investigate the effectiveness of various language acquisition models for English learners. This research study looked at achievement records for 36 school districts in 16 states over 32 years. There were over 7.5 million student records analyzed with this study. Notice how all programs listed in the study plateau on student achievement or actually decline in achievement, except for the two-way model, which is the model that will be implemented by Washington Primary. This two-way model shows steady and continuous student academic gains. The Washington Primary two-way model DLI program is based upon three fundamental concepts. The first pillar, cross-cultural competence, where students will develop the ability to understand, empathize, communicate, and interact with others from another culture. We will not be just teaching some Spanish, but students will be learning and interacting in Spanish to help develop a worldview. Bilingualism and biliteracy are the second pillar, which is all about the full development of our students to speak, write, read, listen, problem solve, and become fully immersed in both cultures. Academic achievement is the third pillar. Research shows that Washington Primary two-way model produces the highest academic achievement interaction compared to other language models. We will focus on context interaction instead of solely on grammar development and conversational language. In the Washington Primary two-way model, we will provide equal academic focus for both languages, Spanish and English. In this chart, you can see that each core academic subject receives an equal percentage of the school instructional day in both languages. This is an example of what a student's daily schedule may look like. Group A will start their instructional day in the Spanish-only classroom, while Group B starts their day in the English-only classroom. Both Group A and Group B will be able to intermingle during lunch and recess times. At the conclusion of their recess time, students will now switch classrooms to receive core instruction in the opposite language from the start of the day. To continue our example, Group A students will be receiving instruction in English, while Group B students will be receiving instruction in Spanish. It is important to note that the language instruction received at the end of the day will be the classroom the students start their instruction on the next day. In our example, Group A ends their instructional day in the English-only classroom, so they would begin the next instructional day in the English-only classroom. Group B would be vice versa, ending in the Spanish-only classroom and starting in the Spanish-only classroom the next day. The Washington Primary Dual Language Immersion Program is committed to providing quality, research-based curriculum. These resources include Haggerty, iReady Reading and Math, Lifelong Readers, and Nestor-Lita. Please note that the English resource has a corresponding Spanish resource to provide fidelity throughout our curriculum. There are multiple advantages for students to become bilingual, including increased fields of study and work opportunities, increased self-confidence, developing a multicultural awareness. Bilingual students are typically better at problem solving, focusing, and multitasking. Increased engagement, enthusiasm, and leadership roles, and full closure of the achievement gap between EL and non-EL students. Additional benefits of bilingual education include dual language students typically score as well or better than their peers who do not participate in the DLI program on standardized assessments. Develop a positive cross-cultural attitude. Develop a strong, positive sense of self. Tend to outperform students who receive short-term instruction in the native language and are more likely to graduate and pursue a post-secondary education. Washington Community School Corporation is committed to the Dual Language Immersion Program. We are committed to growing this program each year in the following ways. In grades K through 6, we will continue to provide our DLI model in the two-way format with instruction given in both Spanish and English. The corporation will add at least one bilingual teacher in each grade level. We will also look to hire bilingual art, music, and PE teachers whenever possible. In grades 7 through 8, we will look to add Spanish-specific classes for literacy, culture and media, science, and math. In grades 9 through 12, students could choose to start a third language, take the advanced placement test, take college-level Spanish classes, and take the assessment to qualify for the Seal of Biliteracy, which is a nationally recognized language-based achievement that will open even more opportunities for college admittance, college scholarships, and employment opportunities. If you are interested in applying for admittance into the Washington Primary DLI program, you can scan this QR code that will open the application directly to your phone, or simply go to our corporation website at washingtoncommunityschools.org and look for the Dual Language Immersion link under the Academic tab. If you have additional questions concerning our DLI program, feel free to reach out to any of our team members. Thank you for your interest in our Dual Language Immersion Program. If you have further questions or to receive additional information, we encourage you to visit our Dual Language Immersion webpage on the Washington Community Schools website. A link has been provided at the bottom of this page.